not a game, it's a rich thing.
Okay, so I know I'm a little late on this, but here is my review on the Bose Noise Cancelling Headphones 700. Horrible name, by the way, but sometimes when something like this happens, I just kind of like to think about just how many people at Bose had to have signed off on this and said, yeah, like that's a dope name, like let's go for that, before they do it and it becomes a reality. But I mean, the name isn't really the important part. You want to know, what is it like to actually use these? So, right off the bat, I'm a huge fan of Bose, and I've been a fan of them for a long time. And maybe it's my inner Bose fan coming out, but I actually really like the design of these. I know when images of these first surfaced, it was pretty controversial, but honestly, I'm a huge fan of the way that these things look. I mean, when I first saw these things, I was also a little bit iffy on the design, but the more I look at it, the more the design just starts to grow on me. And I just think that they look really good and really sleek and futuristic now. Looks are subjective though, and I'm sure you have your own opinions about them without me having to say anything. So before I got the 700s, I had the Bose QC25s, but that was about 6 years ago, and I thought it was definitely time for an upgrade. And don't get me wrong, I really like the QC25s. Even back then, Bose was really iconic for their noise canceling headphones, and they were the company to go to if you wanted noise cancellation. But they're missing some key features that would bring them into the modern age, namely Bluetooth, which is why I got the 700s. Now there are much more options when it comes to noise canceling headphones though, but I'm kind of loyal to Bose at this point, so I just decided to give them another shot. One of the reasons that I enjoyed the older Quiet Comfort so much was, like the name suggests, how comfortable they were. And I'm happy to report that the 700s are just as comfortable, if not more so, than the old ones. The ear cups are super soft with a really nice and supple faux leather, and they're big enough to cover your ears completely, but they don't breathe at all, so your ears might get a little hot after wearing them for a while. Also, really underrated, but inside the ear cups, the drivers are angled so that they never touch your ears, and that's usually the part that starts to hurt first when you're wearing headphones for a long time. The headband is made out of stainless steel and has a very light clamping force, but it's just enough to keep them secure on your head. And it also seems to be very durable and can withstand a lot of stress. The ear cups can also be adjusted in all kinds of ways and stretched to accommodate pretty much any head size. The size adjustments are also really easy to operate and it feels really nice and dampened. The padding on the top of the headband is also really nice and soft with a rubberized coating, which feels really nice and also helps the headphones stay on your head. Their overall weight is 8.96 ounces, which feels light enough, and I haven't found it to be intrusive. So overall, A plus on comfort. They also don't fold at all, but you can swivel the ear cups to make them lie flat and put them into the carrying case, which isn't the smallest. Here it is compared to the older one, but at least it's relatively flat and can fit into most bags. There's also a really neat magnetic cover in the middle to store a charging cable and the aux cord, which I like a lot better than those mesh pockets you get in most cases. It feels really premium and it just looks really stealthy when you aren't using it. Connectivity wise, these have Bluetooth 5.0 and Bose claims that the Bluetooth range is about 10 meters or 33 feet, which I found to be pretty accurate. I could walk across most of my house without dropping a connection. And it's just a really strong and robust connection overall, and I had very little problems with it. The headphones also have the option to connect two devices at one time, which I think is probably the most underrated feature of the 700s, and I think it should be a standard feature on all headphones. So if you're watching a movie on your laptop and you suddenly get a call on your phone or something, you can take the call through the headphones and not have to take them off or worry about the pairing process. It's just really nice to be able to switch between two devices without having to go through the whole reconnection process, and it just saves a ton of time overall. You also have the option for a wired connection if you need to, but it's a 2.5 millimeter connection instead of the standard 3.5, so you can't just use a normal aux cable and you'll have to use the one that comes with the case. So Bose was kind of known as the noise cancellation king back in the day, and it's kind of what got them so famous in the first place. But how do they fare now? Well, they're still really impressive. While they don't work especially well for canceling higher pitched irregular sounds like voices, which is really normal for active noise cancellation, deep droning noises like the engine of a car or a plane are just completely destroyed by the noise cancellation, and it works really well for what it's meant to do. So much so that these are a must-have for if I'm traveling. And although the competition has caught up to Bose a lot, I think that these are probably the best on the market, or at least on par with anything else that's on the market right now. It's just really hard to tell at this point. All the major players have gotten their noise cancellation so good that it's really hard to distinguish a clear difference between any one of them. And I remember when noise cancellation was first a big thing, people complained a lot about the kind of like pressure sensation that would go on anytime they had the noise cancellation on, kind of like they're on an airplane or they're, changing altitude or something like that. But I think they've essentially gotten rid of that feeling. But even if you're especially sensitive to noise cancellation pressure, you can adjust between 10 different levels of noise cancellation intensity. There's a button on the left ear cup which allows you to switch between 3 different presets, and by default it's set to 0, 5, and 10, but you can change it to whatever you want in the app. One special thing about these though is that they actually have noise cancellation in the mics as well, not just the music that plays through the speakers. And I think the idea is that people will be able to hear you clearly even when you're talking on the phone and there's a lot of background noise, which some of the cheaper mics tend to pick up the background noise a lot. And I think it works pretty well. It definitely sounds better than the other headphone microphones that I've heard. Okay, so I'm recording this with the audio on the headphones right now, and just trying to test out the noise cancellation on the mic. So because I cannot actually go to a cafe right now, I'm just gonna play some sounds through YouTube and then see how it sounds. Yeah, so it's playing right now, and I'm talking, and we'll see how it sounds. And one thing I just realized is that when you're recording audio through the headphone mic, it'll actually play a little bit of your own voice's sound through the headphones, so you don't end up talking super loud and making a fool of yourself in public. So this is the mic test. Let me know how it sounds. Okay, so I just watched the last clip of the recording through the headphone mics, and I realized that it kind of sounds like that the sound wasn't playing at all because the noise cancellation was so good. And now I'm just going to record this through the phone's microphone, and I hope you guys can hear the difference, because the noise cancellation on the microphone on the headphones is actually very impressive. Like right now I'm playing the sounds at the same volume as before, and I think it's much more clear now. Okay, so sound quality wise, they're not mind-blowing, but they are pretty good. They sound about as good as you would expect from a Bluetooth headphone in this price range. Overall, the sound quality remains pretty much unchanged from previous models. So if you tried on any of the older Quiet Comforts, you'll pretty much know what to expect. While they probably won't impress any audiophiles, they have pretty good clarity and a pretty flat sound signature, with maybe a little bit of emphasis on the bass, but not much. If you're going after like a head-rattling bass experience, you might want to look elsewhere. You also get new touch controls on the ear cups, which actually work surprisingly well. And I think it's at the point where touch controls are so reliable that they're officially out of the gimmick territory. Like when headphones first started doing touch controls, especially the in-ear ones, the touch controls were always so unreliable that using them was just way too frustrating to be worth it. I thought that would be kind of weird at first just because there's that little bar in the middle and you don't have the full surface area to work with. But honestly, it doesn't feel weird at all, and I think that they did a really good job on this feature. Plus, I kind of feel like a secret agent when I'm doing all those gestures on the side of the headphones, so bonus points there. There's also a button on the side to access the assistant of your choice. It works with all the major ones like Google Assistant, Siri, and Alexa. The battery life is rated for 20 hours, which seems to be pretty accurate in my usage. And it has a quick charge feature where you can plug these guys in for about 15 minutes and get 3.5 hours of playback. A full charge will take 2.5 hours though, which I'm okay with, especially because it has USB-C now. And I cannot wait until micro USB is just eliminated from the earth because USB-C is just so much better. Anyways, I know that isn't the best battery life you can find in the segment, but I also don't think that a normal person will really need more than that. So the 700 retail for about $400, which is honestly an absurd amount of money to pay for a pair of headphones. But since they've been out for a while, you can actually get these for significantly less now. And especially if you can find a price that you're willing to pay, I think that these are well worth your consideration. I think that they probably aren't the best in any one area, except, in my opinion, comfort. But Bose has been in the headphone game for a long time, and I think that these have a lot to offer as a whole package. Overall, during my time with these, I found very little to complain about with them, and I think that they're just a really solid choice. Like, you may be able to find a different set of headphones that offer better sound or maybe better noise cancellation, but as an entire package, I think it's really hard to beat these. And besides the name, I think that these are overall a very compelling set of headphones, and I think you should really consider them. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I really hope it helped you out if you're still on the fence about getting a pair of these, and I hope that you have a better idea about whether or not you want to get them now. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be doing my best to upload every Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.